Alright, what is up guys, and welcome back to another video. Anyways, before I get into the video today, I just want to quickly wish you all a happy new year. I know I'm like 8, 9, 10, or 11 days late whenever I'm posting this video, but I just had a lot of Wi-Fi issues, so I haven't been able to get this video up. By the title of the video, yes, today I'm going to give my own opinions, experiences of Iifym, as well as I'm going to teach you guys, hopefully, if I'm a good teacher, how to calculate your macros, whether you're going to be cutting or bulking. I'm going to start off for the people that are new to my channel or that are beginners into weightlifting. Right now, I'm actually going to quickly explain what Iifym is, what is typically tracked, numbers and stuff like that. And for all of you guys that already know what Iifym is and you simply just want to know how to calculate your macros, whether you're cutting or bulking, I'm going to leave a couple of timestamps on the screen somewhere here or in the description box down below, so you can go ahead and skip to whichever part of the video you want to watch. Anyways, without further ado, let's just jump right into it. And apologies for my small whiteboard. So, let's just start off with, what is Iifym? So Iifym, or if it fits your macros, is a style of dieting involving numbers that many weightlifters, not all, I know not everybody likes to use this style of dieting, like to use to help them gain muscle, lose fat, or to simply help them maintain their current weight/physique. And for those of you wondering what exactly are the numbers you're playing with and what are you tracking, your protein intake, your fat intake, your carbohydrate intake, as well as your fiber. Alright guys, now that we got some of the basics out of the way, we're going to go ahead and move on. We're going to be starting off with the bulking phase, but before I get into all the math, I want to quickly say for today's numbers, we're going to be using my own personal numbers. And to start off, my maintenance is going to be around 2,500 calories. And I just wanted to quickly say, for those of you wondering how to find your own maintenance calories, there's one of two ways you can do it. I think there's only two ways. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But anyways, one way, you can go ahead and go online on a typical calculator website. You can go ahead, punch in your numbers and your stats and stuff like that, and they can go ahead and give you a rough idea of where your maintenance calories are, the amount of calories you need to maintain your weight. Or two, you can do it the old-fashioned way. You can go ahead, download MyFitnessPal. For the next 1 or 2 weeks, you can go ahead and track your caloric intake as well as track your weight every single day. And then at the end of the 1 or 2 weeks, you want to go ahead and look back and see the amount of calories you ate, as well as the weight you've been weighing every day. So we're going to move on. So typically for my bulking phase, I typically like to go about 600 calories above maintenance. I know a lot of guys like to go about 500 calories or even more, but for me personally, since I gain a lot of weight easily, I want to go somewhat of a moderate bulk. I don't want to go too overboard and go like 1,000 calories, or I don't want to go too little. So 600 calories I found personally is to be the best for me. So to start off, generally from what I've read and what I've learned, your fat intake should be about 20 to 30% of your calories. So for 20%, we're going to go ahead and calculate it. And to find that, you want to go ahead and take 3,100, multiply it by 20%. Or 0.2, you'll get about 620 calories should be your fats on the low end. And to give you an idea of how many grams that is of fat, you want to go ahead, take 620 divided by 9, because that's how many calories are in a gram of fat, 9 calories. You'll get roughly about 69 grams of fat on the low end. That's for the 20%. And then I'm gonna go ahead and quickly calculate the 30%. So on the 30%, it's going to be 930 calories, 103 grams. So for me, what it's gonna look like is I can either go ahead and intake 620 calories, 69 grams of fat every day, or 930 calories of fat, or 103 grams per day. Or what you can go ahead and do, you don't actually have to follow these numbers. You can go ahead and go somewhere in the middle. Me personally, I actually go in the middle. I go to right around, well, not in the middle, but that's basically a range that's given So I personally like to go to 80 grams of fat because first of all, a lot of foods that I have at home are high in fat, and typically I kind of enjoy my fats. However though, 80 grams is the maximum I give myself. I try my very best to go 69 grams simply because I want to try to stay as lean as I possibly can while trying to gain muscle. Anyways, I'm going to quickly move on to protein. So the issue with protein that I have is that through watching a lot of videos, looking at a lot of articles and research, and talking to my friends and some of these fitness celebrities, they've got their own opinions about how much protein you should intake per day when bulking. Some will say 0.6 grams per pound. Some will say 0.8 grams per pound. Some will give a range. Me personally though, and what I find a lot of people like as well, is just to go 1 gram of protein per pound that you weigh, simply because it's the easiest to track. So, to find the grams of protein that you need, simply just take your weight and multiply it by 1. So me, for example, 169 times 1, which is 169 grams. And then to find the amount of calories it is, you want to go ahead and take whatever amount of grams you get, multiply it by 4, because that's how many calories are in a gram of protein. You would get about 676 calories of protein. But however though, if you do not like protein, you can go ahead and go with the 0.8 grams or with the 0.6, and from there you can go ahead, you can up the carbs or fats if you'd like. Now, if you're wondering how to find the carbs, all you have to do is just take the other two numbers we calculated. So in my case, I'm going to take my bulk, so 3,100, subtract it from 676 from my protein. And for me personally, I'm going to go with 620 because I try my best to stay on the lower end, because you know, I love my carbs. And then you're going to get about 1,804 calories, or about 450 grams of carbs. Now, if you don't like having that much amount of carbs, you can go ahead and up your fats. Or if you don't like having too much fat, you can go ahead and up your carbs however you like. So basically, my final thoughts is just that find what you feel you personally enjoy. Just ask yourself, do you like peanut butter? Do you like fats more? Or do you want to go ahead and up those carbs so you can maximize your gym performance? Do you like candy and stuff like that? What I love about this style of dieting is really it's all about preference and what your goal is. Lastly, we move on to the cutting phase. So for my cutting calories, we're going to be working with 1,900 calories because that's typically the amount of calories I use to cut. So of that 1,900 calories, what a suggested intake is about 15 to 25% of it should be fat. So if you translate that into grams, it would be about 30 grams at the minimum and 52 grams at the maximum. For you guys that struggle like me or similar like me, or it's difficult for you to lose weight in fat, what I suggest doing is when you first start cutting, slowly drop your calories and your fat week by week, maybe 200 to 300 calories, maybe 5 to 10 grams of fat. And don't do any cardio yet until you see that you're not progressing anymore. Then you want to go ahead and throw in cardio. Because what I've learned from watching the online coach Raymond is that cardio should be used as a tool rather than abusing it as a necessity. Because the first time I performed my cut, I messed up. I slashed my calories too fast. I added in cardio way too early. Whereas the second time around, I will go ahead and display a picture of my cut my second time. I know it's not the most impressive cut, but I was very happy with the result. The second time around, I followed exactly what people told me, what I've learned. I slowly dropped my calories and my grams of fat to the point where once I saw my progress stop, I went ahead, I threw in cardio a couple times a week. And then once that stopped working, I threw in a little bit more cardio, kept slowly dropping my fats. And then eventually, you can only drop your fats for so long because as you guys know, fats are necessary for your diet They help you stabilize your mood. They help you with your sex drive. They help with your hormone levels. And they have many other functions as well for your body. So eventually, you're gonna have to cut back the carbs. Now, moving on to protein quickly. When you're cutting, the leaner you are, the more protein you should intake, because the goal is when you're cutting is to lose fat and retain as much muscle mass as you can as possible. So, if you're a guy like me and you like your protein, I suggest going on the higher end of the scale. So 1.4 grams per pound that you weigh. And if you don't like protein, well, that's okay. There is a range given. You can go to 1.2 if you like, or 1.1 or 1.2 or however many. But for me, what is suggested is 169. I'm gonna go ahead and take my weight, multiply it by the amount of grams I like to intake. For my cutting, my starting protein would be right around 236 grams or 944 of my calories. Now, once you get your fats and your protein, you want to go ahead, we just fill the gap to find the carbs. For the carbs, at the beginning of my cut, when my fats are high, I can go ahead and intake up to 120 grams of carbs or 481 calories. And then as I drop my fats, and I want to up my carbs just a little bit so I can still get my 1900 calories in, I can go up to 168 grams of carbohydrates. Also, if you're wondering about what your fiber intake should look like, the general recommendation is that you should intake about 10 to 15 grams of fiber per 1,000 calories. So in my case, I want to go ahead and take in about 30 grams since I eat about 3,000 calories. And then for females, it's suggested around 20 to 25 grams, whereas males, the minimum is about 25 grams. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you guys learned something. I know I'm not the best teacher, but I did try my best to make this as simple and as possible for you guys. And if you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to do me a favor. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed or if you learned something new. Also, be sure to do me a favor and drop a comment of what future videos you would like to see and of how I did this video. Next, you want to go ahead and share the video with your friends, family, or with people you know that would find this video helpful or useful. And last but not least, you want to do one of two things, or you want to do two things for me. Man, I f***ed that up. You want to go ahead, you want to click that subscribe button to be a part of the family and to be a part of the journey, to be a part of the fun. And then you want to go ahead right here, click that turn on post notifications bell somewhere on this screen so you can get verified of whenever I upload a video. Man, I cannot talk today. Anyways, guys, I want to thank you all for the continuous love and support. I will catch y'all in my next video. Peace.